Welcome back to Henry's Garage. In this episode we're going to install some hard brake lines and some flexi lines as well. Right, I haven't been filming this, but I'm going to show you where we are. So my brake servo, the sender unit or connector to to the electrics to give you your brake warning, snapped off, and it snapped off right at the top of the screw in here, and there was nothing to get purchase on. So I can't remember what these things are called, and I've never ever been able to get them to work before. But you know, they screw in one way and it pulls it out the other, and you can see at the top here that it's coming loose. So I'm just going to fix it back on, see if I can do it one-handed, and hopefully there. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe it's not actually pulled it out. Right, well, I'm going to stop videoing because I need two hands. Of course it wasn't that easy, so it's a good hour later. I've applied all kinds of things to this, and I'm trying to show you. Let's get it under the light. Right, so there, I don't know if you can really see it. There is a little bit kind of, ooh, jeepers, I lost it there. So that looks like a, it looks like it might be, come on, might be the opposite end of this. Okay, and I'm not sure. So if I measure the depth on this, like that, and then I measure this compared to here, then there we go. Yeah, so it seems to be that this would be touching that, which might be what it's meant to do. But it might be off by one screw hole, you know, level of screwing in, and be wrong. So, but when I screw this in, as you can see, it screws in all the way. So it's whether or not, and I don't know how these mechanisms work, but it's whether or not this gets pushed down by getting screwed in which case it's probably okay, or if there's something within the brake cylinder that causes it to go one way or another. So I'm going to fit it to the car as is and await for people to tell me, nope, you need to do something else. Thank you. Okay, so for this car I decided to buy some made up brake and fuel pipes, and they all came together, and I now need to just work out what's what. So I'm going to assume that the thinner ones are the brakes and the thicker ones the fuel. These are numbered. So we've got numbers, so hopefully we've got a piece of paper in here somewhere telling me what each number refers to. No, okay. Well, we'll try to work through it and we'll see what we've got. Right, hopefully this is working. So this is the brake kit that I got, and we can see the numbered pieces and where they go. And so I'll lay those out in the right places and see where we go from there. What we don't have here is the flexible hoses. 1, 2 and 3. Right, so I know from the diagram where these 9 pieces should go, which is great. But I do have, I mean, I don't have the flexible, but I have those two and I'm not sure where they go. So maybe they're not part of, maybe they're part of fuel, which might make more sense. Now the other thing is I've dug out what I took off the car here. So that we've got this, and then we've got this bit off the rear axle. And one of the reasons that I haven't been out much over the last couple of months is that I allow myself a very specific budget per month. And I know I've got some big expenses coming up with things like the brakes, with the fuel tank on the white TR7, amongst other things, and a screen glass for this and things like that. So basically I was at a point where I couldn't actually proceed without going over budget, and so I needed to make some savings. So I didn't. So the reason I'm saying that now is because I'm wondering how much of this current pipe work I can use to save costs on the other car. So clearly this can't be reused. Okay. And this one can't be reused, but these two short ones could be. And this long one again can't be reused, but those two that go at the back could be. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by trying to refit those and see what they look like. I'm going to give them a clean and try to refit those that go along the back, see how they look, and then decide how I want to progress from there. Okay, so I cleaned those off with a bit of vinegar, and they've gone back in quite nicely, to be honest. I need to remember how that bit there connects up to the flexible hose, but that's okay. Then over here, as you can see, I have cleaned that up, and those two front pipes which connect up to the they must connect up to the master brake. I've taken all the others off, which are clearly broken at the other end, but holding them together so that I can use them as templates for when I bend the other bits. So I'm now going to just have a little lunch break and then come back out. Okay, so we've fitted it up here. I had to drill a hole for that, so I hope I put it in the right place. I don't think it went in these holes. I'm pretty sure it goes along there. If it went in those holes, I'm not sure how the pipes would have gone. So we've got that in place, and now we'll start looking at running pipes from there. So in order to work out how I need to bend these pipes, this has taken some readjustment of these pipes, so they've clearly been bent in the time they've been off. I've just kind of gently fitted in my old front pipes like that, and we're now going to pick out the correct new ones and try to bend them to the same shape. I used the old ones as templates, and I started at that end and worked through doing the curves. For the front end. So as you can see, one goes in there, the other runs along underneath. Can I get under that? Yeah, underneath. Comes along into this wheel well. Unfortunately, I think it's a bit long
for this wheel well. So it's meant to come here, and I've got it all the way down there. So I think we will be having to cut this one whilst it's on the car, fit it in and deal with it that way, because there should be a flexible hose from there, I think, to part of the car. Right, I decided I'd got that on the wrong way round based on wherever the manual's gone. Based on this, which shows it with the rear. That's left-hand drive. Okay, so I decided I had the pressure reducing valve on the wrong way round, because we can see here the rear coming out on this side. Now the rear on mine is underneath, but you can see where it would be here. So I switched that around, which means it no longer, the screw hole no longer connects to the thingy. So fine, I can deal with that later. And then I've got the pipe running down and down the middle. And I think the pipe comes out, or was meant to connect up at the other side. I think it must be up here, there. Now you can see I've got lots of loose pipe in between with that, which would allow me to go around things. And then I think there's a flexi pipe from there to where this one goes in back here. But I'm not 100% sure, and because I'm not 100% sure, what I'm going to do is stop and get the flexi pipes and fit it all together. Okay, so I have here the flexi hoses for the brake system. Those two are for the front and this one is for the back. So we'll start by installing the one at the back. So this is actually a bit disappointing because that's tightened up, but clearly they don't come together. So I need to find some nuts that fit on the end of these to just fix them in place, and then I can fix the hard hoses in place. So that's what I need to do. Unfortunately, I don't seem to have anything of an appropriate size, so assuming the thread of the front and the back are the same. This here is an M10 bolt, which will catch, but then won't turn because clearly the thread is different. An M12 is obviously too big, and if I go to Imperial, the 9/16 is too small. I don't have anything bigger, so I don't know what thread I'm meant to have on this. So I'm going to have to, I'll fit them as they are, but I'm going to have to, if anyone can tell me what I should have to hold these in place, I would be grateful. Thanks. Okay, so again, these are, not held particularly well because they need a bolt on the other side, and I don't know what size, but they're in place. That comes through to here. I've reminded myself in coming here that in fact I need to do something about these bolts at the back, because I got this big long one sticking out and I could not work out
the right places for them to go, so I'm going to have a look at that again. And then this hub very much needs something doing with it. First of all, it's not on tight enough because of that movement. So I need to have a look at that. And then the brake caliper slightly moves as well because the bolts at the back are wrong. So I'm going to have to deal with that as well at some point. But for right now, we're going to do the other side and move on. So I've refitted now the balancer for the rear and front. And I've bent this to take account of the slack here. Then underneath I've been trying to work out how it's meant to run, and I'm not 100% certain, so because I'm not certain I'm going to just leave it hanging for now, and I'm going to check on the white car when I'm next to my parents in Scotland. So that's it for this episode. We've got the fixed lines and the flexi more or less installed for the brakes. I do need to find appropriate nuts to tighten them into place, which I don't have at the moment. Obviously I need to look at those front brakes again because of the bolts not fitting properly. What else? And I need to get pads and discs for it. And I think I might need pads and discs, shoes I mean, and then I might also need to get some new discs for the front. We'll have a look and see, but that won't be in the next episode. I'm not sure what will be yet, but do like, subscribe, comment, and do come back for the next one.